My father tore my diploma to pieces and said that my degree was worthless. Now, he is working for me. I worked 3 jobs to put myself through college because my father said education was a waste for someone who'd just end up married anyway. He wanted me to work at his construction company answering phones like my mom did before she left him when I was 15. Every semester, he'd tell me I was wasting money I didn't have on a useless piece of paper. He'd say real work happened with your hands, not sitting in some classroom learning theories from people who couldn't make it in the real world. But I kept going, taking night classes, summer sessions, whatever it took to graduate in 4 years while paying my own way. My older brother, Eddie, dropped out after freshman year to work for Dad and became the golden child. Dad would bring him to job sites, teach him the business, and introduce him to clients as the future of Brennan Construction. At family dinners, he'd talk about Eddie's latest project while I ate quietly, too exhausted from studying after my shifts to argue anymore. When I made the dean's list, Dad said they probably lowered the standards. When I got accepted into the business program, he said they needed to fill quotas. Nothing I did was real to him, just participation trophies and handouts. The day of graduation, I didn't even tell him about the ceremony. But Eddie mentioned it at Sunday dinner and Dad suddenly decided the whole family should go. He said someone should witness how much money I'd wasted on a meaningless piece of paper. He brought my aunts, uncles, and even his business partners, the Donovan brothers, who owned the lumber supply company. He made this big show of renting a van to transport everyone, saying at least my graduation would be good for something, since it gave everyone an excuse to take the day off. During the ceremony, while other parents were taking pictures and crying, Dad sat there on his phone handling work calls. When they called my name for the business degree with honors, he didn't even look up. Eddie had to elbow him to get him to stop talking on the phone. After the ceremony, everyone was taking pictures outside. Dad walked up while I was holding my diploma, posing with my roommates. He grabbed it out of my hands and held it up to his business partners, saying this is what $20,000 in debt looks like. He said I could have been making real money these past 4 years instead of playing pretend college student. Then he started reading it out loud in this mocking voice, emphasizing every word like it was a joke. When he got to the part about honors, he laughed and said they give those out to everyone now, just like participation trophies. I reached for my diploma and he held it above my head. He said I needed to understand that this paper wouldn't get me anywhere in the real world, that employers would see right through me. He said the only reason I even graduated was because schools were too soft to fail anyone these days. Then he ripped it in half, right there in front of everyone, my family, my friends, his business partners. He tore it into pieces and threw them at my feet, saying now it was worth what I'd actually learned, which was nothing. People were recording, not to be mean, but because they were shocked. My aunt gasped. My uncle told him he'd gone too far. The Donovan brothers looked uncomfortable and walked away. Dad said I needed to learn that fancy degrees don't mean anything in construction, which was the only job I'd be able to get anyway, once I realized the real world didn't care about my participation award. Eddie tried to pick up the pieces, but Dad stepped on them. That's when Mrs. Donovan came back. Turns out she'd graduated from the same business program 20 years ago, and now ran the financial side of their lumber company. She asked her dad if he thought her degree was worthless too. Dad tried to backtrack, saying that it was different.